small your organization is. If it's more than just you, right? If you've got more than just you probably should build a university. And the university is just a fancy name for an online space where you can add video-based courses, right? So courses that are basically for every single task. So when we talked about thinking about building a list of repetitive projects, breaking those into the smallest possible tasks to determine the resources, and then going out and building a video course that explains how to do exactly that. And in our system, we have to put down the date when we created the video. And then the system monitors, and if the video is older than 6 months, it turns red. And the red requires us to go through and either recertify the video, so listen to it again, watch it. And if it's still good, recertify it's good for another 6 months. If it's not, re-record, taking into account the changes that have occurred and making sure that the system continues to operate in the most relevant and updated manner possible. So there's a way to do that, and we can talk you through that. But I think, in fact, over here I didn't mention it, but we have an objectives management system we created called the MXP. But you can probably find others to do it. We created because we couldn't find one, but there might be some out there. If not, we can help you with that. So basically basically repetitive projects. You want to make sure you've got the university and you want to do your video training. From a video training perspective, we use a screen recording application called Screencast-O-Matic. There are a bunch of them out there. That's the one we use. And with all of these technology recommendations I'm making to you, they're just recommendations. The more important part is recognizing there's a need for that, and then find the technology that fits within your system, with your style, whatever makes sense for you. And I'm giving you what we use just so you have that as a baseline, or you've got a data point that says, oh, they use Screencast-O-Matic for that. Okay, so next is everybody must use the same project management system. It's imperative, and I covered that already. We use Teamwork Projects. We've been with them for about 9 years, and to tether back to the beginning of this conversation where we talked about David Allen and his book, Getting Things Done, once I had read that book and bought into his system and process, which is brilliant from my perspective, I think it's brilliant, I began looking for applications that would enable me to do what he mentioned in his book. And, I've tried everything. I mean, we went through, what's it called? I'm trying to think of it. So Basecamp. So Basecamp was one of the biggest. We probably spent 5 years with that application. It's really good. It just doesn't do what David Allen recommends to make yourself maximally productive. So we went through all of those. Teamwork Projects is probably the best for doing that. Asana is very, very similar, so you could use that as well. It's about finding the one that fits you best. Okay, so everybody should use it. And again, that's people outside of IT. So everybody should be using a project management system for everything they do. For non-repetitive tasks, as a manager, and this is when I talked about the 25% of my time, largely is spent on adding clarity to non-repetitive tasks. So things that are ad hoc that come out of my conversations with clients, which is also part of my working in the business time. I want to make sure that I'm super clear. And so we use Screencast-O-Matic to record, because it's generally better than people don't like to read 11 pages of how to do something. They tend to like watching a video where they can get the context of the application and see the cursor move, and then this happens and you're going to go here and then you're going to do this and that. That seems to work better for people. So highly recommend building videos to add to your tasks in the description. All right. Next, you should create a living agenda. And I don't care if you're working internally as a leader and you've got a repetitive meeting. It should have a living agenda, not a new agenda each time. And people tend to do that. And that's just a minor thing that bothers me. And if you take the time to build agendas every week, it's just time that could have been spent on other things. Mostly it's living. So when we think about, I think I know where it comes from. When we think about Microsoft Word or Microsoft Excel, still to this day, people will often pass a physical, kind of a physical, it's a digital file of a spreadsheet. And it's a version. And somebody else will get it, they'll open it up, they may make changes, and now it's a new version. And the old person has the old version, and if it's not shared, that kind of thing. So Google Docs came along and eliminated the concept of versions. It's just that document. You don't need to call it version 1 or 2 or 3. It's always just growing and becoming better as more people add to it and adjust it. And if you need to get back, obviously there's revision history and that kind of stuff. But so the concept around a living agenda is the same. We use Teamwork Spaces to document everything we're doing for our clients. So earlier I mentioned recording the meetings. Well, not only do we have an agenda, but beneath that we'll have meetings. And within meetings, we'll have a folder that contains each day that we met, and it'll have the video of that. So our client can just pop into that, or our own people can pop into that and watch a particular meeting in video. So it's as though they're there, they're just not able to ask questions. So I think that's pretty important to do, to create the living agenda and have that available. One component of that that's really important is to be able to add real-time tasks into your system. That's why we use Spaces, because Teamwork Project and Spaces work together, and Teamwork Chat works together with those as well. So I should have probably had Teamwork Chat here, or I don't think I put it on this one. All right, my apologies. So Teamwork Chat is another one that we use. Those all work together in that I can be in Spaces, which is a documentation area, and I can pull the task setup from Teamwork Projects right into Spaces. And during the meeting, if a client says, well, I'd like to have you guys do this or that, I can say, oh, you mean this? And they see me typing in. I can say, great, I'm going to go ahead and assign that to Michael. And is it okay if we get it back to you by Friday? Perfect. There's that. And then I may go back to it immediately after the meeting concludes and add a little bit of color to the description, because I don't have time necessarily to do that with the client. Sometimes we do, but not always. But the point is, no matter what, you want to be able to record and execute tasks. And by execute, I mean get them in, activate is probably a better word. Activate the tasks during the meeting or immediately afterward. If you don't do that, that's back to the discipline thought. If you don't do that, I guarantee you, you'll wake up, it'll be 2 days later, 3 days later, it'll be foggy, and you're going to be trying to construct a task. And you may reach a point where, hey, that's due in 2 days. And now you don't have time to really adequately express it to somebody, get it in their queue and have them do it. It wouldn't be fair. You're doing it. So now you just robbed leadership time from yourself. And that I've done it more times than I should ever talk about. And it's, if I can give one thing to you to keep your system going, try to get that stuff done ASAP. Okay, and then we talked about this already, but using meetings to record, maintain the continuity for bringing new team members or clients into the whatever the project that you're working on, so that they can get right up to speed. That's the presentation on the remote manager. So I'm going to pause here. Any questions on the remote manager?
No, good.
Very clear.
Very clear. Okay, so it's 4:42, and our thought on this entire series of talks is that it should be organic. So I'm not going to try to stretch it to 60 minutes. I think that says it. And if you have any questions, I'm available. Just ask me. But those are my best thoughts on thinking about how to stay positive while you go remote, because it's really been great for me. I can't imagine going back to working in the office. Now, some of you will have to go back possibly to working in an office, but I love the remote. While you got it, enjoy it. I mean, I've been amazed. If I leave the house, and over the last week or so, I've seen people that are middle-aged with their, sometimes with their remote call device, and they're happy, and they're on a walk in shorts outside in this wonderful weather we're living in, at least here in Arizona right now. And that's kind of cool. And I bet you they haven't done that for years. And so a chance to get your body moving is also great. And so anyway, so I just want to say, I think it's a very positive opportunity for everybody. In terms of the book, David Allen's book, it's painful, but man, now's the time. If you're going to take it, now's the time to go grab that book and create that system for yourself. I think as soon as you read it, you're going to be like, wow, this is super powerful. And I can tell you, for 16 years of doing it, no way I could have built this business or done anything like it without that book having been poured into my head. 4-Hour Workweek is going to give you some great ideas on how to maximize your productivity. That dude's super wacky but super smart, Timothy Ferriss. And then if you're running a business, you should definitely pay attention to the Michael Gerber book, on the E-Myth Revisited, and some of his latest projects. So those things are really good. And then the rest of the stuff is kind of simple. You've got, I've given you some technology that you can use. You just need to find the technology that fits best with your personal style. And the reason I like Teamwork is because it does a lot of things all in under one roof, rather than cobbling others together. So it's nice. Like, for instance, I'll give you one last thing. In the chat area, if we were chatting together and working on a project, and in the chat we came up with, hey, we should go do this, I can convert that sentence into a task into Teamwork projects. So I'm in chat. So a lot of people would use, say, something like Slack. Slack is just getting to the place where it can maybe send a task over, but I'm not sure they've got that going yet. Teamwork projects also considerably less expensive, but you can decide all that stuff for yourself. Okay, well, I think that kind of wraps it up, and I hope you got something good out of it. And I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much, John. I'm looking forward for the next conferences.
Awesome. We'll see you there. I'll be there.
Thanks, John.
Take care.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please hit the subscribe button.